You hate someone because of one of three things. One, that person has something you desire. Two, you have a high sense of entitlement. And three, you lack basic critical thinking skills. Now, I'm going to elaborate. So, the first one, you hate someone because they have something you desire. Now, you hate, now when I say they have something that you desire, it's not just so much in the aspect of, oh, you have X, Y, and Z, so I hate you. No, it's not like that. I mean, you hate them because they have something that you want and you believe that you can do better, or they have what you want and you feel as though they are wasting it by doing X, Y, and Z. Two, like I said, you hate someone because you have a high sense of entitlement. Now, this is sort of going into an aspect of believing that someone owes you an apology. Now, you may believe that someone owes you something, for example, like an apology, but you have to understand that they are human just like you, and they have their own problems and worries. And even then, they probably are not giving you what it is that you desire because they understand they're sort of bitter about something from you as well, or they have a hate towards you. So, like I said, most of the time it's a back and forth thing. Both of y'all have a high sense of entitlement. And most of the time it's apparent. Like I said, for example, with a younger child, it's, to statistically speaking, the youngest child always has a high sense of entitlement. So most of the time, the youngest, we all know the youngest child gets away with everything. And with them getting away with everything, they have a high sense of entitlement. And so they believe like, oh, I shouldn't be having to do X, Y, and Z. I'm the youngest. I didn't ask to do this. I didn't ask to be here. Da 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 da. Like, just the youngest, at least in my experience, has always been able to gaslight the parents. And so whenever this happens, they always feel as though they are the ones that are never wrong. They are not the ones who need to apologize. They don't need to do X, Y, and Z. So, like I said, this is why they have so many people that hate them. And hate is a strong word. I would say, like, for example, at least in the aspect of like a younger child and a parent relationship, like most of the time the parents are just disappointed. Like they're disappointed in the fact that they raised a child that is highly entitled. And then lastly, you hate someone simply because you lack critical thinking skills. And what I mean by that is you solely hate someone based upon a belief. Like for example, people who say like, "Oh, I hate Donald Trump," and it's just like, and then you ask them why they hate Donald Trump, and then if they give you a reason that is not based in logical facts, now granted, there's a lot of logical facts on why you could possibly hate Donald Trump. But like I said, if they're not presenting those facts, then you automatically understand that their hate is rooted in a cultural belief, not something that is actually factually true, that is objectively true, and that is understandable. yeah, most of the time people will be like, yeah, I hate Trump, or it's even if they love Trump, like it can go the opposite way. Like most of the time people will be like, oh yeah, I love Trump. And then they'll be like, well, why do you love Trump? Just like, he's gonna make America great again. And I'm just like, so it's just a belief. And like I said, with the last one on why we hate someone, most of the time it's just a form of cognitive bias. And typically we face a lot of cognitive bias about things. Like I said, and for those who don't know cognitive bias, I think the best way that I could explain it in like dumb terms is just you have circular reasoning. So, for example, or it's reasoning that is not supposed to go together. Like, for example, it rains and you have red shoes on. And then you have a belief that says, oh, or if you wear a different shoe another day and it rains and you wear those red shoes and it rains, then you're like, oh, every time I wear red shoes, it rains. That's a form of cognitive bias. Like just two things that should not go together. That is not based in logic. It's more so based on belief. Anyways, like I said, most of the time you can tell a lot about what a person is basing things off of if it's not something that's logical, if they're not giving you a factual reason that has your brain and have you stuck like what the fuck is that, then it's because they hate out of critical thinking. Like I said, I've had conversations with people that, like I said, they like during the presidential election, they were talking about, yeah, oh my God, that bitch Kamala Harris. Oh, da, 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 da. I'm just like, dang, whoa, strong words, first off. And then second, I just asked them, like, what do you hate about her? And then it's just like, oh, yeah, she doesn't know how to give definite answers and da 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 da. And so that's when you automatically know that that person does not have a mind of their own and they don't know how to critically think. Like I said, I feel as though someone who, at least for me, like I said, this is just my form of cognitive bias, maybe. I feel as though if someone actually displayed knowledge or actual the critical ability to think, they would see that both candidates have their positive and negative aspects. You know what I mean? They're able to see the whole picture. And they're able to weigh in on the economic state of the world currently. And then they will go, most of the time, base it upon the previous candidate's track record on what they can do and what they could potentially provide. So if you're basing things off of just, and sometimes we all know why certain people think the way that we think. And like I said, and that's okay. But people don't like to make things explicitly clear. But just know, we know why you hate the things you hate. And like I said, that's for you to hate. I'm not going to treat you any less of a human being because you hate something or you love something more or you love something less. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we all eat shit. I said sheet. We all eat shit and breathe. So like I said, we're similar in that aspect. Other than that, we are far from the same. Like I said, because at the end of the day, human beings are complex and our environment is ultimately the complex factor because we all grow up with beliefs from people. And see, the reason why we hold said beliefs is because, like I said, for one, most of the time these beliefs come from your parents. And so you believe, at least at a younger age, at least, you believe that your parents are correct with everything because they kept you clothed. They provided you with basic survival necessities. And so now that you believe that, oh well, it's like a, so you have to think of your brain, it's like a if then statement. Oh well, if I've been living this long, then that means they haven't been wrong about a lot of things. And so therefore they're never wrong. But see, like I said, once you go too far, that's when the cognitive bias steps in. Like, yes, they knew how to keep you clothed, sheltered, fed, but anything else outside of that does not correlate. Like, their beliefs can be totally wrong. Like I said, my parents' beliefs are totally wrong. Most people don't know how to accept that. And not to say that you need to say that shit to your parents, because we all know that you pussy at the end of the day when you try to say that shit to your parents. But just understand, look, shit, I'm pussy. I would never say that shit to my parents. But I know that my parents are wrong with some of their beliefs. Not saying all, but some. And like I said, that just comes from a person developing critical thinking. And it's apparent in today's society that majority of people are still trapped within the idea that their parents are right about everything. Like, they weren't right about everything. They were just doing what they felt was right. Not to say that it was the correct thing. And so you have to change that. This is why you are here. You are here to change generational curses. And the one thing that generational curses have in common is that everything is based in ignorance. Curses are based in ignorance. So yeah, I think that sums up today's video. If you like what I've been saying, like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I will see you all in the next video.